Okay, I'm gonna call to order a regular meeting of the Ruidoso Downs City Council. Today is May 27th, 2026. Time is 5:30 p.m. Let's see. Councilor Proctor, would you lead us in? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Counselor Judetis. Here. Counselor Taylor.
Here.
Counselor Lacewell. Here. Counselor Proctor.
Present. I would seek a motion to approve the agenda with removal of A and B under new business.
I will make that motion as stated with removal of A and B from new business.
Second that.
Counselor Lacewell. Aye. Counselor Taylor. Counselor Judetis. Aye. Counselor Proctor.
Aye. No. We will make a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Counselor Proctor.
Aye.
Counselor Judetis. Aye. Counselor Lacewell.
Aye.
Counselor Taylor.
Moving on to number 7, which will be public comments. Is there anyone that would wish to speak at this time? Next will be councilors' comments. Councilors, yes, ma'am.
I would like to congratulate Joey and his team for keeping the park in really good shape for the games that have happened this past weekend and the ones coming up. So we've heard very good things about that.
That as well.
Congratulations and
I'll let the guys know.
yes,
You guys always
please
do an
do.
awesome job.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
I've seen a lot of activity on Facebook promoting the city, and that looks great. And again, it reflects on me going to visit a lot of it's in the parks. So it's really good to see the windows glass so positively reflected.
Yes, I agree. Anyone else? Okay. Next will be mayor's comments. I'd just like you guys to know how hard the staff has been working as we're moving forward with the process of getting ourselves freaked out, I guess. They have done a fantastic job we had auditors in last week for 3 days and fantastic work with getting them what they needed in a timely manner. Finding stuff was, they should be commended for that in that they looked for things and they weren't where they were supposed to be and they'd have to go hunting. But they've done a fantastic job. Very, very pleased with the work they've done. Moving on to new business. Each item listed will be for discussion and possible action. A is been struck. And that's B. So moving on to C, approval of the City of Ruidoso Downs fiscal years 2027 preliminary budget.
I move that we approve the city of Ruidoso Downs fiscal year 2027 preliminary budget.
Second. So, where do you want to lead off?
Yeah, I think the numbers look good for what every department asked for. There was one. It's a revenue line that you had never done before. And that was the interest that we get on our sweeps account. For whatever reason, she never showed that as a revenue. I put that in as a revenue for this next year's upcoming budget. And what page?
What line? Yeah, what line?
It would be this first line, if you look, general fund interest.
Okay.
You can see 26 had 0 in it. I estimated what the interest was and I conservatively estimated it. It'll be a revenue of about $120,000.
Income.
Income.
Lunch.
Well,
Yeah, it's supposed to be a certain.
yeah,
Is it what kind of an institution is that money sitting in? Where's the,
it's a sweet fund in the bank,
what funding?
Pioneer Bank.
That's the one,
Yes,
that's the one that Mary kept telling us that every quarter she'd divvy it out between the departments. And Joey, did you ever see anything from it?
No.
Fire department? Police department?
So what the sweet fund is, and I don't know what Mary thought it was or whatever, but what it is, we have a general account that holds about $2 million in it. The sweep account is in a high interest account. If we wrote a check for 2,001 or $2,001, the sweep account comes in to cover what overage we would have on that. And then goes back into its high interest deal. And the average, and I looked back for the year, it averages between $14,000 and $16,000 in interest per month. So I estimate conservatively at $10,000. That way, I don't overestimate it and we end up losing money on that one. But it was a revenue that she never showed.
Changes everything.
Changes a little bit.
A lot.
If we look at the actual budget that we came up with, it has the 2026 budget. If you read that grand total top, $1,108,027. That's what we were over for the budget that was set for 2026. That's with adjusts and everything that they came to council with. That was the overage. We were over that.
What binder are you reading?
Page one, top line.
Oh,
This one. If you look at the 2027 budget that you all agreed, when we did the budget meeting, we were negative $707,236, which means we're gonna bring in approximately, because none of this is set in stone, $700,000 more than we're gonna spend.
But we don't have a budget on here for an attorney, right?
Yeah, if it was in there, wasn't it in there? Didn't we go through that line?
did you do a workshop?
Yeah, well, everything that we did at the workshop, and then anything that we didn't cover in the workshop, we agreed, council agreed, it would just be status quo, so it's gonna be the same numbers going across.
So it's, our attorneys billed under our New Mexico self-insurance fund policy, so we won't have that expenditure on there until after June, I believe. They sent us one more fund
But it increases our premium, so do we know what the increase is?
on one certain, if it does increase those premium.
It definitely increases our premiums. To pay off a year of having an appointed attorney.
Donna would have those figures.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see those figures.
Mayor, council,
yes,
I think NMSIF bills you dollar for dollar. My time,
I received a statement of basically, this is where you're at for the year to date letter a couple times.
I think your goal budget included $120,000 a year on the starter. I couldn't, yeah.
So it was 144 last year. When we did our budget deal. The governing body decided anything would just stay status quo, so it'd be the same budget. So if it was 144, then I just put in 144 for this year's budget.
Okay.
Yeah,
We haven't reached that threshold yet this year, so. We're good there.
and then on the starting budget, ending budget, all the check marks. Which you see are on the bid budget, all the big X's, and they weren't ready until I copied them when I got in line. Are over budget, but that doesn't mean like this first page. Here, all those X's means that we brought in more money than what we were expecting to bring in. On the very first page, those are all revenue. And I know it looks weird. And there's one thing I can complain about Casell. Negative is positive and positive is negative.
Okay.
So if it shows negative, that's actually income. If it shows positive, that's expense.
Tell me like that. That's just. Is that sale that?
Casell does it backwards. Negative is positive and positive is negative.
Mayor, members of council, while we're talking about the budget right now, I would like if council can remember, because I can't. There was something we were supposed to do with the excess revenue or excess, non-expended money every year. That we were going to roll into the emergency fund. I don't remember if it was that or if we were just gonna add 50,000 a year to that emergency fund.
That was my understanding last time I was here.
Well, it was 50 and then one time.
During the,
Well, we started out at 50 like 3 years ago, we just put 50 in there. And at first it was every year we're gonna add 52 as we have. And then there was a conversation last year that, hey, if she was telling all of us like, hey, if you don't spend it, I can gather all that up at the end of the year, we can put that in the emergency fund. But I think one way or the other, we need to do that, or his interest we're making, we need to add something to emergency fund, because like right now. I got $1 million of work to do and we have $100,000 in the bank, so I'm gonna have to get a 0% loan to cover us. Where if we could slowly start building that, we could either use it for emergencies, or at the end of the year, if there's plenty of money left over in the emergency fund, let's pay off some of these grant funds and get out of loans. And that stuff I talked with Cory about, and just wanted y'all to be aware and maybe give direction or while we're at this point.
some of those grants were supposed to be being paid off
Some of them were, but there's,
at a higher.
since 2012, there's been like 17 big grants, and every one of those have a 10% loan and a 2% match. So the loans are, yeah, they're 100,000, but they're 100,000 over 30 years. So if we could drop 50 grand, Cory reckons, like, we could take 50 and pay one off this year, one next year.
Mhm.
I think it'd be good to give some guidance on how y'all want to proceed with excess funds.
I wanna say, I remember there was a conversation. I was in the crowd, so I don't.
Yeah, I know there was, but I don't
There was a
understand
conversation
if it
about.
was ever truly approved, or if it was just like this in the document.
I don't think it was.
Just a little bit.
Okay, sure.
Not open discussion at this point.
That's all I had, Mayor. I just wanted to bring that up. All right, so thank you.
You have anything further?
No,
I have.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have any outstanding loans?
Yes,
So
we have loans where we make quarterly payments on.
We have a DFA loan?
I think it's the DFA, though. I'd have to go look at the loans that we,
There's quite a few of you.
there's quite a few.
Would it be more prudent to pay those off before we write the grant?
Depends on, the grants he's talking about. They were a grant, but 10% was, we had to pay, and then 10% was a loan. And so those are still loans on the grants as well. It's basically the same type of loan.
Do they all have different amounts of interest, levels of interest?
No, I think they're all the same interest. But like you said, it's a 30-year loan. But
Mayor, members of council, the loans he's talking about are also, they're DFA loans. Because DFAs are the financing partners with all the loans. And there's ones like USDA, when the city bought the spring in like 95 and 96. It was like a 3% loan. But how they stretched it over the years, we're gonna pay 4 times what the loan amount was by the time we pay it off if we keep waiting till that 30-year term. So that's things we need to look at.
I agree. I think we need to re-examine how things have been done in the past, and if we can speed them up or clean them up.
Yeah.
Why would we pay out over 30 if we can pay it off in 5? Provided there's no, that incurred because of that, or, yes, sir.
One more thing, so on those grants,
Don't even say that. You said that and come back again.
so when we write like a colonial grant, like how we built all of Agua Fria in different areas, we have to allocate a percentage of the GRT, whether it's infrastructure, water, sewer, to pay that loan. Where we're sitting right now, I almost can't apply for any more loans because we've allocated so many percents to pay that there's nothing left. So that's another reason we definitely need to
So
try
it's
to
a
pay
debt
that.
to income ratio kind of a thing?
Yes, sir, it's,
Good.
there's a 1/8%, we've allocated all that 1/8 to do water lines, so. Like, when we get to this spaghetti flat steel, we're gonna have to get creative with our different infrastructure to figure out how we're breaking it out. Because it can't fall under just water, it won't cover it.
Okay, well, yes, sir.
At one time, Roy had mentioned to me, and this has been back in the old regime, that a 1/8% increase in taxes doesn't have to be voted on by the public. If I'm wrong, I'm not sure if that's correct or not, what the percentage is, but that would help go into the emergency fund, and that would get flipped back over to help pay some of this stuff on. And if you look at that, you're talking, that what we figure out, $10 on 1,000, something like that.
Well, it's 1/8 to 1%, $100 is nothing, but it adds up to a bunch of money when you figure the GRT county or citywide for water.
Right, that's, in the future, I think that's something that's government could take a look at. It's something that a lot of the citizens don't want to hear, but 1/8 is, that's the penny you're gonna lose if you could buy something that says 8 cents.
8 cents on the- 8 cents on the-
Penny you're gonna lose.
Didn't we just vote on that last year?
There was something else with that effect.
On the, Mayor,
And the,
On the ballot? It's-
yes, ma'am.
Mayor, members of council, the tax increase that was placed on the ballot was supposed to be allocated towards our museum. It lost by 15 votes. And that was without any solicitation or any back history on why the city had approved that tax increase to be on the ballot. So if that was to be on this year's ballot, the general elections, then, and if there's some history behind it, it could pass.
Well, that's,
We need to campaign for it. If
Right.
that's something we truly want, we need to sell it to the public.
that was the biggest.
This is a separate
It's a,
levy go, right?
Yes, Mayor, this was completely separate, something that would not be into the general fund, it would go over into
Infrastructure.
infrastructure, and it would be built there, and that would be for things like he's talking about right now. That we could go in and get grants, and this would help cover our 10%, 15% of our
I
work.
get it, I get it.
And you're already working on that, we've already had discussion on this.
I think that's separate. I mean, what we're talking about, what we have on the table today.
Getting into the weeds a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead.
I'd like to remind the governing body that you have to apply permission from the chair before you start speaking. This is why in Father Demare, a while ago, he said settle down. You have to be recognized for the floor. And then you have to release the floor back to the mayor. Parliament government, you can release the floor to another councilor, to another senator, whatever. Here, we don't do that. We give it back to the mayor. So I'm just, remind you of that, so we're not sounding like a bunch of chickens in a hen house. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I agree, we're doing good work. We're excited about it. And we tend to want to make things happen faster. I get it, I understand, but thank you for that. Any further questions for? Do I need to? You already made a motion, correct?
I agree.
I believe we are.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor Taylor,
Aye.
Counselor Laceland, aye. Counselor Fitalis,
Aye.
Counselor Proctor.
Aye.
Okay, item D is just a disclosure notification. In accordance with section 10-15-1, section I, please be informed that the closed session held on May 18th, 2026 may not have compiled may not have complied with the requirements of the Open Meetings Act for discussion. Whoops. Sorry, I'd do better.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
so, clerk called me about this, and she was, I think you were concerned that maybe you hadn't done a roll call vote from the closure. So, probably no harm, no foul, but if it had been reported to an MDOJ, they would have made you this disclosure anyway. So I just kind of wanted to read into the record what the process is for opening and closing. Like I said, if they had raised it, they would have made you do it anyway, so we're catching it ahead of schedule and. You know, I understand it was a 9-minute closed session, so.
Pretty quick. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So if a meeting is closed pursuant to the exclusions contained in subsection D of the Open Meetings Act. The closure, if made in an open meeting, shall be approved by a majority vote of a quorum of this body. You did that. The authority for the closure and subject to be discussed shall be stated with reasonable specificity, which usually means I make a motion to close pursuant to H2 or 8 related to maybe personnel matters or real estate purchases, something to that effect. So the motion has to be pretty specific on that. The vote shall be taken in an open meeting, which I think you did. And the vote of each member shall be recorded in the minutes. So what that's translates to is roll call vote. So when you close, you make a motion with specificity, take a second, and then roll call vote. You're done, then you're over. It's closed. Of course, you have to give notice of that meeting. And then following the completion of any closed meeting, when you come back in, I call it magic language. You have to recite magic language into the record. And sometimes it's nice just to have it on a piece of paper typed up. Sometimes the attorney reads that, sometimes the mayor reads that, it's up to you all. What you have to state, that magic language you have to state once you come back in, and you'll come back in by motion. And somebody has to state that the matters discussed in closed meeting were limited only to those specified for the closure or in the notice, and that no action was taken in the closed meeting. Just those magic words. I've actually seen an MDOJ make an attorney apologize for not including no action was taken in the closed meeting. So just easy peasy stuff, and it can be a script, honestly.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor of the council, every step that was taken that Ms. Winter just recited was taken except the roll call for closure. Councilor Lacewell described and actually had caught it when we were exiting everybody of the audience to leave. I completely missed it. She caught it, so we commend Councilor Lacewell. Also, like an aspect was to clarify our record, add that transparency.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I just wanted to ask, did you watch the video?
I did not.
Oh, okay, because the magic words were said.
Oh, good.
We had the script. We had the
Okay,
script.
oh, good.
We had this group.
Excellent.
Okay, well, the next one is the one we've all been looking for, adjournment. We are adjourned.
Minus or a plus?
That's a